Hi, my name is Matt Balis, Director of Football Performance here at Notre Dame. It's great to be with you today, and I'm going to share with you our strength and conditioning football performance program here. I'm going to go through it in great detail for you, and I can't tell you how proud I am to get to spend some time with you. I'm in my 4th year here at Notre Dame, and it's been an unbelievable experience, and it's been great to see our student athletes continue to get better and better. Our culture has been incredible, led by our head football coach, Coach Brian Kelly. And what we've been able to do is take a holistic approach into our training. We combine old school training and principles, getting after it, attacking every single day, all right, as a brotherhood, and then taking the latest scientific research and recovery protocols that are out there, and we have the best resources available to combine that old school training approach with the latest science and cutting edge technology that there is. So as I go through this presentation, that's what you're gonna hear, that's what you're gonna start to picture in your mind when you're here training with us. Now, the first thing I have to tell you is I have a great staff. You can't do this job without an unbelievable staff. We're a staff of 5, including myself. And then we also carry 3 professional interns as well to help train you guys the best that we possibly can. So we want to give you guys the best. Now, the first thing we do when you guys come on campus is we created a corrective exercise weak link program. We want to see how you're able to bend. We want to look at things like ankle mobility, hip flexibility, hamstring mobility and flexibility, how you bend, when you jump and land, do the knees take the brunt of it or do your hips catch it? When you do a single leg squat, does your knee buckle in or out? And we utilize a program called DARI. DARI is a 3D motion caption system that allows us to be able to monitor and see what your body is able to do when you first get here. And then we can create individual training protocols for you. We include these weak links in your warm-up, during the workout, and afterward. And like I said, this gives us a great way to individualize your programs when you guys first get here. And it'll continue on through your career here at Notre Dame. The next thing we want to talk about is your neck and how important it is to train your neck. We know that if we increase the base size of the neck, we can slow down force, we can dissipate force upon impact. Okay, the research tells us that there's a 40% decline in concussions by increasing the base size of the neck. There's over 40 muscles in the neck. So it's extremely important that we train the neck and all the muscles around it. The traps as well, in the back, your lats, your erectors and things like that. And so for us, we have 10 neck machines. We utilize manual resistance, we utilize bands, and we constantly train and emphasize training the neck. We train the neck twice a week year round, and during spring football, we train it 3 times a week. So I want you guys to know and your families to know how important it is that we protect your brain and your spine. Okay, and so it's a really important aspect of our training. We measure it before you start training. In circumference, we measure it during, post, as your neck starts to get bigger and stronger. We measure it, we have fun with it, we compete with it. And so those are things that you guys need to know as you get on campus here. We're gonna protect you, that's our #1 goal. Next, we teach you how to train. We wanna teach you how to strength train. And there's really 3 ways we go about doing it. There's the time under tension principle, progressive overload, and then the dynamic effort or the velocity principle. So when you first get on campus, we're not just gonna ask you to jump in with the guys that have already been here. We're gonna take our time and really make sure you strength train the right way and teach you how to do it the right way. So with time under tension training, that's high rep training. That develops mass, hypertrophy, it strengthens tendons and ligaments. It's things like rep ranges between 6 to 9, 8 to 12, 12 to 15, 15 to 20, and 20 plus. We believe this is a great way to strength train you safely. We know that the more reps we do and the more fatigue sets in, the more your body has to go recruit more motor units and fast twitch muscle fibers. And it also is a great way to train for mental and physical toughness because it's basically a fight or flight situation. Either you're gonna keep training and fighting through the pain, or you're going to stop and put the weight down and give into it. So time under tension training is a great way for us to start training when it's extremely safe. The second way we train is through progressive overload, Progressive overload is done with things like the squat, the bench, the power clean, the hand clean. And that occurs with linear periodization or undulating periodization, where we slowly increase the weight week to week and we start to decrease your reps. Now again, we're not going to have you do anything that you're not ready for. We believe that as long as we kind of slowly develop you, that you're going to be able to create muscle mass and strength gains that are done safely without putting your lower back or any other parts of your body at risk. So progressive overload is a time-tested, unbelievable way to strength train. And then the third way that we do it is through velocity training, where we utilize something called elite forms. Every one of our power racks has an elite form attachment to it. And this elite form attachment trains velocity, it measures bar speed, it trains rate of force development, and it essentially allows you to get more explosive through your training. Now you can't just train for velocity. You have to build a strength base first. You've got to get stronger. You have to develop muscle. You have to develop hypertrophy. As you're doing that, the velocity-based training becomes more and more imperative. Because as an example, you can be someone that's extremely strong, come off the line of scrimmage and engage, or run a route, or play, if you're a defensive player as a corner, start to cover somebody. But if you're not explosive, then you're not going to be able to stay with the person. Likewise, if you're extremely strong but not explosive, okay, that more explosive player is going to be able to get at you quicker. So really, we need all three. We need the time under tension, we need the progressive overload, the strength base, and we need the velocity. And we have strength coaches, as I mentioned earlier, that are in charge of certain areas of this entire program. I can't do this myself. We have a strength coach, Coach Jake Flint, who's in charge of the elite form and the science. We have Coach Robert Steiner, who helps me with the day-to-day operation and is in charge of the Omega Wave recovery protocols, which I'll talk about later. We have Coach Ian Burris, who's in charge of the corrective exercise and the weak link part of your program, which I talked about earlier through Dari. We have Coach David Grimes, who's in charge of our SWAT, which is our off-season leadership competition, spring workout accountability teams, or summer workout accountability teams, or in-season workout accountability teams, which I'm going to talk about here later. So our whole entire staff is going to monitor you and create these different protocols that you're able to follow, which help you maximize your ultimate genetic potential so that you can peak for maximum performance for yourself. So once we do that, then we start talking about conditioning. Again, we're never going to ask you to come in and just jump right in to conditioning protocols with guys that have been here for a year, 2 years, 3 years already. When you first get here, we're going to always take the approach that you haven't done very much, because we want the safest approach possible. So we'll start at 50% of what everyone else is doing, and we'll slowly go to 50% week 1, 30% week 2, 20% week 3, and then 10% week 4, which is basically the amount that the rest of the team is doing. You're doing percentages of that. Your rest to work ratios will also be longer, 8-to-1 for a week, 6-to-1 for a week, 5-to-1 for a week, and then 4-to-1 with rest to work ratio. So we're very safe what we're going to ask you to do. But there's essentially 3 ways we condition, and there's energy systems that we attack. The phosphocreatine system, the ATP-PC system, 1 to 10 seconds. We get that through a lot of our speed work and our plyometric work and our heavy resistance training work. We also have to train the fast glycolysis system, which is moderate explosiveness, but also is needed to recover in between plays, to sustain strength through different plays that last long, to recover during the game situation, recover during practices. You need the fast glycolysis system, things like half gassers and full gassers, 300-yard shuttles. And then we train the oxidative system, the slow glycolysis system, which is essentially your aerobic base. Now that doesn't mean we're going to ask you to run miles and miles. What that means is high intensity interval training, such as 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, or 15 seconds on, 15 seconds off. Or as you progress, 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off. But this creates an aerobic base that, again, allows you to continue to practice hard, play hard, train hard for the entirety of a season. And the idea behind that is you want to peak and be at your best all right, at the end of the season. And the only way you do that is you have to train all three of those energy systems. And we train for speed, linear speed. We train for agility, change of direction, and the anaerobic conditioning, which I talked about. Speed, linear speed training is your explosiveness coming out of a start. It's also being able to hold good technique as you're running. And then you want to also have great top end speed. But then also that speed turns into position specific, and then later very football specific as the summer goes on and as we get into preseason. We start training at 90% of your actual speed as we get ready for training camp. Agility training starts out general as well with predetermined cone patterns. We move into reaction-based, football specific, and then finally your drills that you're doing on the field that get you ready to play football. And then our anaerobic conditioning, which starts out longer with the 300s and things like get the yards, run for a minute, run for 45 seconds or 30 seconds. All right, it's position specific. And then as we get closer to the season, that turns into 53s, cross fields, or 40s, 50s, and 60s. So we really start to train the energy system specific to your sport. Next thing I want to talk about is our SWAT competition, our spring workout accountability teams. And as I said earlier, we do this in the summer and in the in-season. Our entire coaching staff, led by Coach Brian Kelly, are very, very involved in this. This system allows us to compete year-round in 6 categories. We compete in strength, in the weight room, speed on the field, agility on the field, conditioning on the field, academics, and then discipline. So those 6 categories are looked at year-round. Within the discipline category, we're going to look at things like training table, prehab, rehab, community service hours. Did you make your body weight for that week? Are you doing things together as a team, as a SWAT team? And that's a great way for us to be able to see how the team chemistry is coming together through this discipline category. We also check on health and wellness questionnaires, which I'll talk about in the recovery portion of this, to make sure the guys are also filling that out. So all these things are a part of our discipline. Academics is extremely important here at Notre Dame. So we include academics as part of the overall SWAT competition. We want to know that you're going to class and that you're participating in class, that you're on time and you're doing the little things that make you a great student. We believe that by you going to class and being a great student or giving your best effort that you can is going to make you a better teammate overall. And just like discipline, academics is extremely important to that. Taking care of the locker room, doing the little things, the small things, as being a great teammate will affect those SWAT teams, which affect the entire offense or defense, which affect our whole team, which affect our culture. So our SWAT teams have been a great asset to developing our culture year-round. Now we also compete and have fun with it so that the first place team weekly is allowed to get some type of reward, whether it's food gift cards or training gear or things like that. And then if the team that doesn't make the minimum point requirement for the week, their SWAT leader, the person that's in charge of them, of their team, they take them through some type of leadership workout. The way these SWAT teams are formulated is we have a draft. Coach Kelly chooses who the 8 to 10 leaders are going to be, and then those leaders conduct a draft to be able to pick different guys that are on the team to formulate their team. And it's not always about who's the biggest, strongest, fastest, or quickest, but who's going to be the best teammate, who's going to be accountable, who's going to do the little things. That goes back to Coach Kelly's traits of excellence: attention to detail, being laser focused, being smart, being gritty, and having a great attitude. All those things go into our SWAT competition points. The next thing I'd like to talk about is our recovery. No matter how hard you train, and we train hard here at Notre Dame, we believe that you have to train hard, that you have to pay the price, that every day you come into that weight room, you're on that field, that your mindset is to get better, to outwork our opponents. But you have to recover just as hard. And we believe we have the best recovery protocol and techniques in the country. The first thing we do is our health and wellness questionnaire. That questionnaire is downloaded onto your cell phones. These questionnaires have how sore are you? How fatigued are you? How many hours of sleep did you get? What's your stress levels like? And what's your body weight? These questionnaires give us great information into what's happening to you guys during the week. And it allows us to know if you are peaking, how you're responding to the training, how you're responding to practice. Obviously, as the week goes on, we get ready to play, these questionnaires are a great source of information to you and us. It allows you as a student athlete to really learn about your body and see the importance of sleep and see the importance of recovery. The health and wellness questionnaire is labeled green, you're feeling really good, yellow, kind of in the middle, and red, you're not doing so well. So if you're lighting up red throughout the entire week, we know that we have to intervene as coaches. Also, sometimes during off-season training, we might want you to be red. We might want to train you really, really hard and then give you a chance to recover over the weekend. So again, it's a great tool for us. The second tool we utilize is the Elite Form, which is how we measure bar speed and velocity, which gives us rate of force development trends throughout the entire year. This is great for on-the-field development. This lets us know if you're becoming more explosive, if you're able to change directions more explosively. And we have numbers and set protocols from the past that help us really gauge that and evaluate that. The next thing we utilize is GPS technology. We want to see what your training load is during practice. Coach Kelly, Coach Flint, and myself, we monitor these things during practice, and we make sure that you guys are not going overboard in your training loads. Meaning, you might be at a certain training load that we know of once we get your set load, and if we see that you're going above that too much, we know that we have to bring it back down. It also works the other way, that if you're not going up enough or you're practicing under your training load, that we have to bump up your reps in practice. So GPS technology is something that we utilize during our conditioning as well as during the season. And then we also use something called Omega Wave. Omega Wave looks at cardiac strength, heart rate variability, heart rate recovery availability, and also central nervous system readiness. Now this is a great tool for us, especially in the in-season when we see if a guy is not able to recover or is all red in his questionnaire. Well, he might not be recovering properly. So everyone's different in how they recover. Omega Wave technology lets us know if you're someone that needs a float tank, if your central nervous system can't be turned off, or if you're someone that might need the cold tank, your central nervous system can't be turned on. Everybody's different. And so Omega Wave allows us to issue different recovery protocols for you. That float tank is 1,100 pounds of salt, which allows you to go into an egg-shaped device, and if you spend at least 45 minutes in there, and if you fall asleep, it's like getting 4 hours of REM sleep. And as we know, sleep is the #1 recovery tool that there is. So being able to know what is going to be the best way for you to recover is really, really important for us. Then we also use force plate technology, which gives us an idea of how explosive you are, what your hang time is like, what your amortization phase looks like, which means when you jump and land, how explosive you are coming out of it. And we utilize this technology throughout the year as well. So recovery is a huge part of what we do here at Notre Dame, and it's very individualized. And then of course, nutrition. We have the best nutrition staff in the country. We are led by Carrie Oliver, and they have 4 full-time nutritionists on staff along with other student workers that allow them to put you guys in the best position to be successful with individual meal plans and giving you and offering you the best food there possible in order for you to fuel to be able to be at your best. And the way I look at things and the way I talk about it, it's like a pie chart in thirds. A third is your strength and conditioning. A third is your ability to recover and get your sleep. All right, and your mobility and your flexibility work. Okay, and your third is your nutrition. You need all 3. If you just, train hard but don't sleep enough and you eat okay, you're not going to maximize your potential. If you don't train hard but you recover well and you eat well, then you're still not going to maximize your potential. So you really need all 3 of those things in order to be at your best. So that being said, that is how we develop you here at Notre Dame. We take, once again, the old school training principles of attacking the training, all right, and leaving no stone unturned and being individualized and cutting edge specific into what your goals are going to be. And then we also take the most cutting edge recovery and science available to make sure we're developing you the proper way. And what we want to do is add lean body mass, functional lean body mass. We're not in the business of trying to just put weight on to put weight on or take weight off to take weight off. We look at lean body mass and body fat numbers using our DEXA machine that our nutritionists have, and also our skin-fold body fat calipers that we do as a strength staff. And so all those things put together help us to become the most mentally and physically prepared team in the country. Now, all that being said, our number one goal, again, is to help you become the most mentally and physically prepared football player in the country, but also the best young man you could possibly be. We want you to leave here better than when you got here. And that's not just in football, but that's in life. That's being the best person you can be. A champion is a champion all the time. Okay, you act, your habits, your accountability, what you do on a day in and day out basis, how you treat other people, how you attack challenges, how you respond to adversity, all those things make up a champion. And so our program is really based on all those things. We believe that if we attack the intangibles of being a champion, that all the other things that go with being a great football player will happen. So again, I appreciate you taking the time to listen to our program and our principles. I'm very proud and honored to be able to talk to you. Thank you very much, and go Irish.